In 1 month, Medicine at Midnight drops the Foo Fighters' new album, and it's my most anticipated album of 2021. And joining me once again is Chris from Filmstock. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing great, Ewan. Thanks for having me on. I'm a little out of my comfort zone today talking about music because I'm more based on movies and film, but anytime I get to talk about the Foo Fighters, especially their big hits for me, I'm excited because I really do enjoy this band.
Yeah, they're easily like one of my favorites for sure. Like when I do my top 10 video, you'll see them and they'll be in the top five. That's how much I love the Foo Fighters. And do you have like a cool backstory with them at all? Something like that?
Honestly, I think it was, what was that? I think literally my first ever experience with them was like, I always knew of the Foo Fighters, right? I never really knew what they were. And then I watched the other guys. It's kind of funny. I was at my friend's house. I was like 10 at the time. And because it came out in 2010, I want to say. And
Yeah.
like that, the song "My Hero" starts playing, and then I was like, "That song's pretty badass." Like, do you know what this is? And my friend was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the Foo Fighters." And then I would listen to them here and there, and that's actually the way I was introduced to them, which I think is hilarious.
You thinking what I'm thinking, partner? Aim for the bushes.
That's awesome. And I think it was you who said, someone said, like, oh, yeah, my heroes and the other guys. And I haven't seen the other guys in like 3 years or something. And then actually today, like 2 hours ago, and I went back and I watched that scene.
Hmm.
And then it just like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's so aim for the bushes.
Oh yeah,
I
it's
love.
classic.
So our lists are going to be like a little bit different. I have some more honorable mentions. Chris only has seven, so I'll just talk about my 10 to 9. But my honorable mentions are This Is a Call, Gimme Stitches, MIA, February Stars, and These Days, which are all fantastic songs. They just missed the list, and honestly, some of them could switch out over time. But coming at number 10 is I'll Stick Around from their first album, the self-titled Foo Fighters album, which when I first started listening to them, I was just like, oh yeah, I'll just go to their, their first album. And I didn't just little backstory quickly. I'm a massive Nirvana fan, and don't worry, this is the only time I'll mention Nirvana in the video. I'm a massive Nirvana fan, and then after like, because I listened to them for like 2 or 3 months, I was like, oh yeah, the Foo Fighters. I've always heard of their name, but then I was like, oh, it's Dave Grohl, who was the drummer for Nirvana, and then he's in this. So I listened to that first album, and I loved it. And then I went and listened to like their bigger hits, added them to my playlist. Didn't listen to them for like a few months, and then I went back and really got into it. And then I'll Stick Around is still, it's my favorite from that first album. I think it's an absolutely fantastic song. And yeah, I love listening to it every time, especially before hockey.
I know I don't have anything to say about that.
Coming in number 9 is All My Life. And honestly, if I had a mic like you, Chris, I would just like, when I was saying this, I'd just go in and go, All My Life, and like whisper it in mic like ASMR. That's what I always think of when I listen to the song. But this one is so much fun. Like, it's just like, it starts off a little bit slower. There's another song that's like, they're like quieter, and it's like, and then, I don't know, I have a thing with the Foo Fighters. I have to listen to them before hockey. That started this year, but I have to listen to at least one song before it. It's like a superstition. All My Life is definitely one that gets played every single time. And number 8 is Times Like These, also from One by One, which is the same as All My Life, which is an amazing song. Like, all these songs are probably some of my favorites of all time, and I really love this song. This one and All My Life can definitely switch and switch, but Times Like These, it's really like when you listen to the lyrics, it's really like fun, like, yeah, flip your hair song, but it's also kind of, it's important. That's what I like about a lot of the songs. There's like deeper meanings in some of them, and the lyrics do mean something.
Yeah, definitely. That's a solid list right there. I feel so weird. I feel so weird right now talking about music. It's new to me. I mean, it's exciting, but it's just new. Like, I'm thinking
Oh
about how
yeah.
I'm gonna talk about the songs because it's just like I've never thought about them differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like when I started doing it, I like planned it out for like November, and I was like really getting ready, and I was thinking like, do I talk about the sound of
Yeah.
them or like the backstory? So I kind of do both, and it's
Yeah. Yeah.
I've kind of, when you do it more, you like, November was so much music, so I was just like, for like
Yeah.
video, so I
Yeah.
just kind of got used to it.
Yeah, so I haven't had any yet. I do really enjoy the Foo Fighters, but when it comes to like music for me, I was telling you behind the scenes, I don't really listen to full albums normally. I kind of just listen to like groups of songs here and there, and then I go to another band. I'm very weird with music, but hey, I'm here to. You got to start somewhere to talk about music, right? So
Like,
so coming in at number 7 for me is "Best of You." I thoroughly enjoy this song. I like the way that it builds at the end, if that makes any sense. How it's like the
yep.
best of you, and it just keeps building. It gets me hype. as do most of these songs. You mentioned you like to listen to them before hockey. When I go for a run, I have a rock playlist that's usually filled with the Foo Fighters, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Stone Temple Pilots, a bunch of different bands that I really enjoy. So Best of You is just one that I do like. And I don't know if this makes any sense, but Dave Grohl has like a good yell sing, like not too like
Yes.
overpowering,
Yeah.
but like the way he like, it's almost like a chant at like a sporting event or something. And it gets me kind of hyped. So Best of You comes in at number 7 for me.
That's a perfect way to look at it, saying this like the chant. I totally agree with you. I think he's one of the most best like yell singers in the way, because he doesn't have like the singer of Soundgarden, Chris Cornell, has like a operatic voice, as people say, whereas like a lot of these singers, like even, sorry to mention it, but Kurt Cobain from Nirvana, are really good at yelling while singing, and they can like scream but still have a voice.
Yeah.
And when I was watching a Foo Fighters concert, I was watching live at Wembley Stadium, and the first song from there, which I'll talk about later, he just screamed through a lot of it, and it worked. And that's what I really love. And I'll definitely talk about Best of You higher up on my list.
Yeah, I really like that one.
Coming at number 7 for me is Learn to Fly from There Is Nothing Left to Lose. And this is actually the only album that we own on CD. And it sits out of frame for those watching on Skype, but you'll see it for those watching our Skype videos, but you'll see it in my regular videos. And Learn to Fly is another one which I always got it mixed up with a different song I knew. It was like a slower song. It had the word fly. I don't know exactly what song it is, but I always thought it was that. And then when I started listening to the song a lot, I was like, oh, that's not the song at all. Yet this song is amazing. It is my second favorite from this album, which I'll tell you my favorite soon, but it could easily change. That's the thing. A lot of these are very, like, they can change depending on my mood, but I love this song.
Yeah, we will talk about that one higher on my list, because I mean that's one of their best in my opinion. But
Yeah,
it's like one of their mega hits, definitely.
It's probably like one of their Jesus, it's probably one of their top 5 most popular songs, I think.
Yeah, I mean I agree. So coming in at number 6 for me is actually a cover of a song that is originally sung by Jerry Rafferty, and that is Baker Street. However, there's a version by the Foo Fighters that I think is only on YouTube, and I tried to find it on Spotify so many times, it's very frustrating. But if I ever want a really great cover, I listen to this, and it just goes hard. Like if you play it and you listen to like the first 40 seconds, the original version by Jerry Rafferty, it's like more mellow, kind of like a jazzy feel to it in a way. But this one, it's like full on electric guitar rock, and I love it. And they changed some of the lyrics too, and I don't know, like this is just one that gets me so hyped when I'm just hanging out with my friends. We'll be sitting around listening to Baker Street Foo Fighters version, and I'll get pumped.
I'm looking it up right now, and it might be. Nope, it's not on Apple Music either.
Yeah,
so
it's very hard to find. That's the weird thing about it, is it's super hard to find. So I don't know exactly. Sorry, people are screaming outside. Just give me a second. Okay. So yeah, the Baker Street version by the Foo Fighters, very rare and hard to find. So you kind of have to look for it on YouTube. I actually tried to like download it onto my phone. Like I went through like some second party website, and it was just hard to do. But yeah, I recommend this to anyone. If you have heard the original and you want a really nice cover, I'd recommend it.
I actually haven't like listened to that song. I didn't even know it exists, honestly, probably because it isn't on Spotify or Apple Music, as I just checked. And that's kind of cool. Like it's like when they when bands take a song and then they like, would you say they improved on the song?
I think so. I think I like this version more. I do. And that's kind of like communist or blasphemous to say, but
well, people might call you a communist on this one too, like the Christmas Story video. Yeah, but this one, I haven't heard it, but I will definitely check that out for sure.
Yeah, definitely recommend it. Also, I'm muting my mic every time. Can you tell?
Coming in number 6 for me is Aurora from There's Nothing Left to Lose. It's my favorite song from that album, and it's also my favorite slow song by the Foo Fighters. It was one where I was like, I always do this with bands. I look up like most underrated or underappreciated songs, whereas when you're looking up a website from 10 years ago, these songs probably aren't that underrated or underappreciated anymore. But I don't normally see this on people's top of the list, whereas it's always been one of my favorites. It's easily one of my favorite slow songs to listen to, and I like how it shows the range from the Foo Fighters, and it's one that I highly recommend to everyone, even if you're not a big like rock and roll fan, with like some of these songs like Best of You. As Chris said, Aurora is it's just a sweet, kind of nice song, and the lyrics are like nice. They're just nice. The best way I can describe it is nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to this one because I was on your live stream on Instagram and you recommended it, and I listened to it. I've only heard it like twice now, so I wasn't comfortable really talking about it enough or putting it really on the list. But it would probably be an honorable mention. It's one that after I bet I'll listen to it more, it'll grow on me more. That's how I am with
Oh
certain.
yeah, that's how I am too. Like as I said, some of these songs I didn't listen to a bunch, whereas like my 1 and 2 are like two of my probably 20 favorite songs ever, and they didn't get to that until I was listening to them for like a month or two. And a lot of these, they build more and more, and you find newer and deeper meanings in them, and that's what I really appreciate.
Yeah, I think that the Foo Fighters are very good at that, and they make
Yeah,
what's the word real quick? Rewatchable, re-listenable. That's what I'm gonna say. Re-listenable, not a word.
I think I
But we're
said
gonna
that in a
coin that
video.
term. We're
Yeah.
just gonna start going with that.
Yeah,
But
I think I said that in a video once, and I was like, I don't know what the word is. There probably is another one, but that's the best way to describe it.
yeah, it is. So coming in at number 5 for me is going to be My Hero, the song that I mentioned earlier. I mean, first of all, the other guys, come on, it suits that movie so well. But it's just like I don't know how to really describe the song. It just goes hard, and like I sound so rookie or freshman talking about music. It's almost
Wow.
tragic, but it is what it is. I'm trying to think. Like I don't know many of the lyrics even, but the drums. I can talk about the drums at the beginning, really building up to it, and then the guitar as well. I'm not even gonna emulate it because it would be so awful. But it's like the bow now now now, and then I love it. I love the song. That's really all there is to it.
My Hero is another one which I won't say too much now because I'll talk about that, and I'll say this a lot. I'll talk about it higher up on my list, but it's one that just it gets me hyped. But there's other things too. But I'll talk about that later. My number 5 is Monkey Wrench from The Color and the Shape, which is a song I didn't listen to for a while just because I didn't know like a lot about it, and then I listened to it and I loved it. And obviously my favorite part of the song is the whole one breath part, which I don't know if you know this song well, Chris, but
I don't know it too well. Yeah.
but there's a part at the end which those who've listened to it where it's like one last thing before I quit, and then he goes on for a while, and on the studio one it's like all in one breath, and even when he does it live, he not misses, like doesn't say like one or two words, and it's so impressive. And then normally he goes and he ends it with a scream, and then he starts singing it normally. This one and Best of You are probably my two favorites to listen to before hockey because it just gets you hyped up straight away. And then when it finally like kind of it slowly, like very slowly builds, and then we have that really intense one last thing before I quit, I never, and then it just goes on the whole thing. I try to do it every single time and I fail, but it's fun.
I haven't heard that song, truthfully. That doesn't have to be on the record, but I have not heard it. I will listen to it after this. So coming in at number 4 for me is Times Like These. Now, did you already talk about this song? I could be mistaken. I believe you did, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Number 8.
Yeah, so as much as I could sit here and talk about how cool it sounds and how I like the way it sounds, I'll try and avoid that for this song. I think that the title kind of gives away, like, Times Like These. My interpretation of the song is just, like, I don't even read that deep into lyrics, but it's just, like the simple times, like the moments with like friends or family where it's just like the moment. It's like that quote from The Office almost, where it's like, I wish there was a way to know you were in the good old days before they were gone.
Yes. Yeah. That's it.
It's just a song that, while most of the Foo Fighters song gets me hyped, this one does as well, but it just has like a lot of a deeper meaning to me, and kind of resonates more with me on a personal level, which a lot of songs kind of don't do. So that's why I like this one so much.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's a few songs that are higher up that really, as you said, resonate with me on a personal level. And I love it because, the simpler times or times like these, you learn to live again. And it's like really kind of the building moments of your life. I think if that makes sense to people, that's what I kind of interpret the song as. And obviously I agree with you too. And I think that's what makes it special.
No, yeah, I agree. Like there's a lot to take out of the song as opposed to just it sounding cool.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best way to describe it. Coming in number 4 for me is The Pretender from Echoes, Silence, Patience, and Grace. There we go. I didn't mess it up. And this one, the more I think about it, this one's my favorite to listen to because of what I like before games and stuff. Like I said Best of You, I said Monkey Wrench, but The Pretender, it was the one that opened their Wembley show. And I love how it kind of starts. I think it might be Taylor Hawkins, like the drummer. I think he might sing that. Oh, like keep you in the dark, like the whole like the quieter part. I was just listening to it like an hour and a half ago, and I noticed that, and I was like, it sounds different. It might be him, and because he has sang like some of the songs. That's just like a little side thing. As for the actual song, I love how it starts slower, and then it just kind of, you come in with the guitar and the drums, and it's like this bam, 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 like this really like on beat thing. And then my favorite part of the entire song is when it's going, and it basically drops, and then it has that keep you in the dark, and then keep you in the dark, those lyrics. And then it just, when you're listening to it with headphones on, never turn up your volume to listen to what they're saying, or else you will break your eardrums, because it just comes in even louder. What a fast thing. And then, I don't know, it's a song that I love listening to. My friend stole my AirPods once, and I was listening to that song, so I was like, okay, payback. Turned it up all the way on him, and he like jumped. It was a lot of fun. And this song, it's just so badass. That's the best way to describe it, is badass.
Yeah, there's always songs that like have those moments like where it gets really loud. You're talking about,
Yeah.
I think it's this is the song Civil War by Guns N' Roses. Gets like
Yes.
wildly loud, and if you have your headphones up too loud, you will destroy your eardrums. And I just thought of that when you're talking about that.
That's true. Like, now that you say that, I can totally think, because of
It's
the
like,
whole, yeah,
just
like it's
yeah.
the perfect way. Just saying, I'll talk about Guns N' Roses this month too, by the way, for those watching.
Oh, really?
The perfect way to start off their albums. They always find just such good ways. But yeah, like that first guitar riff. Going off topic, that first guitar riff. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome.
back on topic.
So coming in at number 3 for me is going to be Walk. Now, this is one of the earlier Foo Fighters songs that I ever heard, and absolutely love it. I think that it's like the king of songs that have this build up with like a great payoff, if that makes sense. Like, it's teasing you the entire time with like the first chorus. It's like pretty chill, and then it starts to pick up with like it's getting pretty. What is the word I'm looking for? It's not like talking about movies. It's frustrating. I think this song has the perfect crescendo as it just continues to build. And then at the very end, there's like a part where the drums are playing and Dave Grohl's just singing. I'm not going to sing it because I'm a terrible singer. I will damage eardrums. And then it's like, learning to walk again. And then it just like at the end, that part is like, I'll be running like for my run, and I will just immediately start sprinting. It's just like it's like something out of Forrest Gump. I'll just go as hard as I can. Like, I adore this song, and it's one that I find myself listening to probably the third most out of all their songs. I mean, it's number 3, so yeah, that makes sense. One of their best songs overall, in my opinion. Is it on your list, or just
it is not on my list, because that's probably my second or third favorite song from Wasting Lights. I think that's what the album's called. But I have These Days, which I'd say is my favorite. The reason they're honorable mentions, though, is because I haven't listened to them, as you said before. I haven't listened to them enough. So I've probably only listened to Walk like 2 or 3 times. It's a phenomenal song. Like, I put off listening to that album. Follow me on Music Board. There's a quick plug, which is like Letterboxd for music.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Yeah, I suggest that. And I listened to the full album through, and I was like, this album's amazing. I gave it an A, like 4.5 out of 5 stars, because it's such a great album. And Walk is easily one of the best ones on there. I put off listening to it for a while, because I wasn't sure if the album would be as great as some of their other ones, and it was. And Walk definitely stood out to me. I just need to listen to it more. That's why it's not on my list.
Yeah, and was that 2011? Is that when that album came out? 2011?
Yeah, 2011.
Okay. So yeah, it's newer for them, right? Newer-ish?
Yes. Yeah. Coming number 3 for me is Best of You from In Your Honor. As I said, I would talk about it higher up on the list. This is one really gets me hyped every time. I love it. This is a crowd favorite for sure. You watch them perform it live, and every single person in the crowd, like when I was watching the Wembley one, every person was just like jumping and shaking their head and flipping their hair, because it's just such a power up song. It just really gets you hyped no matter what you're doing. And there was the whole thing where they wrote the song and then they were gonna like scrap it, and then some guy was like, what's that song that says Best of You like a million times? Some like higher up producer guy, and then they put it on this one. And I haven't actually listened to this full album. I've also listened to No Way Back. Those are the only songs from the album. I know I should have probably listened to them all, but I've listened to most of their songs, like probably like 85 to 90% of them. And Best of You, it's easily one of the best.
I agree. It was 7 on my list, I want to say. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one as well. You are far more successful when it comes to listening to a band's songs before making a video about their favorite songs. But hey, Oh man, that's funny. So coming in at number 2 for me is going to be "Learn to Fly," which you already talked about as well, right?
Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
it's
Number
um,
7.
easily, I mean, one of their most popular songs. Coming from someone who's not listened to a lot of their songs, it's one of the ones on my list, which kind of gives it away that most people who listen to music have probably heard this. I remember, this is a random fact, I was watching an episode of West Wing in a math class senior year of high school, and they walked into a bar and this was playing, and this is also in, like, I swear it's in Thor, I want to say. The original Thor, I could be wrong. It's like
Maybe.
Dr. Eric Selvig sitting at a bar with Thor and this is on, but I could be wrong. But anyway, I love this song. It's one of the few songs that right when it starts, I know that I'm going to sing every lyric to in the car. And that's just like how you know that it's a great song. Like, run and tell all of the angels. Like, right from there, it just hits differently. And the way that,
Yeah.
like, I just love the chorus and just everything about it is a perfect song to me.
Obviously, I had Learn to Fly higher up on my list, but again, all these songs that you see on my top 10, as I said, are ones that I listen to every single day, a lot of these multiple times. Like Learn to Fly, I listen to all the time. I know every single word I think of the song. Like the second it plays, as you said, just the opening lyrics. It's just like, this is a great song. I know I'm not doing that well at describing it, but it's one that really, I don't know, there's like this special feeling with a lot of their songs, and this one, it gives me that feeling.
Yeah, it's like in Soul when like artists are in the zone, you know? I mean, if you've seen Soul, it's like that's what it
Yeah.
feels like when you're listening to the song. That would be hilarious if like for editing. I mean, of course you don't have to. If like every time someone walked in, oh,
Coming in number 2 for me is My Hero from The Color and the Shape, of course. And honestly, this one was my number 1 for a while, but my number 1, which I think we share the same one, has now passed it. And I'll talk about that obviously after. But My Hero is a really great song because obviously it has the amazing drums and the guitar that plays in the other guys and plays and all these. But it was when I heard Dave Grohl play the acoustic version of My Hero on Howard Stern's like show in 1999, and I listened to it, and I really listened to the words. Just the lyrics. There goes my hero. He's ordinary. Seems so basic, but every time I hear it, especially if it's acoustic, it gives me chills because it's a song. Great songs make you think, and this song makes me think about all the people that I consider my hero, all my friends that have inspired me to do this, and that's probably the best way I can describe it is that it inspires me and it reminds me of good things.
I think that was a great description of the song, and I need to start looking at it that way because I just think of the a hilarious movie scene. I mean, it fits that scene perfectly. It's played for comedy,
Oh
but
yeah,
there's a lot more to the song than just being funny in a movie.
yeah, and that's the thing is that it works. Great songs work really well. Like not obviously not all songs are suited for it, but great songs, especially by the Foo Fighters, work well acoustic and in like the rock version, whatever we want to call it. So obviously, when it builds to that ending and then it's like kudos my hero and it goes from that, I'm just like, yeah, like that it really gets me hyped, but it makes me think while getting me, pumped up if I'm, lifting something. I'm like, fuck yeah, that's how I think.
Oh yeah, I think that's like a lot of these songs by the Foo Fighters.
So we haven't even said it like behind the scenes or whatever you want to call it in between takes. We didn't even say the name, but we are both almost 100% sure we have the same number 1. It is, in my opinion, not just my favorite, but their most well-made song. Coming in number 1 for both of us is Everlong from The Color and the Shape.
Everlong, number 1 Foo Fighter song for me. And I remember the first time I heard this was in my car. I was driving my friend to school, and my friend Bryce, he's probably not going to see this video ever, but we were listening. He likes the Red Hot Chili Peppers a lot, so this song came on. I was like, I've heard this before somewhere, and it was one that I'd heard like on the radio, and then like for whatever reason, I just thoroughly like was invested while listening this time, and the opening, I'm not even gonna do a good job. It's just like it's this very slow build, and then when it goes down, down, it's like, okay, this is awesome. It's so badass, right? And then when you get into like the lyrics, I can't really describe it. I'll let you'll probably do a better job describing the feeling I'm trying to even evoke or whatever, but like it's a perfect song to me, and the chorus is great. And again, you even put on your TikTok that video of him, the acoustic version, and that was like, wow, this is powerful stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's another thing talking about the acoustic ones, which there's an acoustic version of this on the Greatest Hits album. My thing with Everlong, though, I said My Hero was the one that was my favorite for a while, but then when I listened to Everlong more and more importantly, when I listened to that acoustic version on the Greatest Hits album, it hit me. And the one thing that obviously not everyone will relate to this, but obviously when I was listening to this, going out of a breakup, listening to the chorus line.
If everything could ever feel this real forever, if anything could ever be this good again.
I was just like, oh, like it really just kind of, it's like, and you can tell it's a very personal song for Dave Grohl because when he performs it live at that Wembley concert, he did all of the song except the last like verse or chorus by himself. Just and like it was like a big stage and like a long going out forward, and he was on that just by himself with his guitar. And then it was really awesome. I'll post it on my Instagram soon. He runs to the stage and then it becomes the rock version. But it's a difference. It's a song that can give you two different feelings, and the music video can counter the third, which is so weird. But their music videos are hilarious. But the rock one really gets you hyped, and you really want to like scream these lyrics. Whereas when you listen to the acoustic one, it's this slower, really powerful, meaningful song that I don't know. It's one of those things that hits you at a perfect time in your life, and that's how I feel about Everlong. It's one of my 10 favorite songs ever.
It is a fantastic song, and for whatever reason, I feel like this song would fit the vibe of the movie Fight Club, if that makes any sense to you. Like the ending when it's like, you met me at a very strange time in my life. I feel like Everlong could play over the ending there. I don't know.
That's a cool thought. Now that I think about that, I'm gonna look on YouTube for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna make that edit if it doesn't exist. I don't even, when it comes to music videos, I don't even really watch music videos often. I don't even personally dig too deep into songs often. I'm just I'm like the average moviegoer when it comes to music. So that's just the way I am. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing is that I only really, for those who are watching, I only really got into especially rock in like August of 2020. So like, was that 5 months ago or something? Around 5 months ago, I'll say, because I knew a few like obviously the big rock, grunge, whatever you want to call this, songs, and I knew the title, like the name, the Foo Fighters, but I couldn't tell you any of their songs. Maybe besides My Hero, and I recognized like Best of You and all these. But then there's Everlong, and if a song makes me want to go in and dive into what it really means, that's when I know it's a great song. And Everlong, as I said, it's one of my 10 favorite songs. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to so many people, including Dave Grohl. Like he's talked about how it was like a personal thing that he wrote the song, obviously, and it's flawless in my eyes.
Perfect song. Completely agree.
So those are our lists, and make sure to definitely comment yours down below. Are you going to call us basic? Who really cares? Though there's a reason. We were saying this before while texting. It's like there's a reason why their biggest songs are their biggest songs, because they're so great. Like if you were going to give a shit for having Everlong at number one, maybe you need to go back and listen to the song or listen to the acoustic version, and then you'll realize why. But once again, thank you, Chris, for joining me. It's always fun. And next month we might have a video on Chris's channel. We just need to discuss what that is. I don't know. We'll see. But
we'll talk.
Yes,
we'll talk.
Yeah, of course. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Over and out.